what is your secret to working hard during the week, making the most of the weekend?
The best things to see, to do, and to eat in Korea on the weekends. We've got it all for you on
What's Up Weekend?
with Alex.
It's a Friday, the weekend is just within touching distance. We leap into it now and discover all the things we can experience in Korea on, hopefully, our days off. Food, culture, adventures, anything. Alex will bring it in. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
I hope it's going good for you. You know, the US is in the headlines for all the wrong reasons these days, weeks or months. We're having a little chat just before we got on air. You're getting affected by it, Alex.
Oh my gosh.
You're too nice. You're too nice to, like, every negative thing is kind of, it seems to be on your back.
Well, it's not everything on my back. It's everything on everyone's back. It's just now, just try to say something nice, supportive, positive, and then you have the other side just yelling at you. I'm not going to get into the political debate, but if you follow me on social media, you know what quote-unquote side I'm on.
Sure.
Is it a side to care about people?
I don't think so. That's the thing. Let's not have sides. Let's just have, this is what I believe, which is caring about everybody equally, you know, and surely there can't be too many people who say, well, that's wrong. You shouldn't care about everybody equally.
Well, yeah, you care about everyone equally, but you focus on the situation now. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that happens. Like, hey, this is important to this group of people. And then my family goes on my Facebook and like, actually, Alex.
Oh dear.
You don't care about these people if you care about these people. Like, no,
Family
that's
divides. Oh, that's the worst.
It's embarrassing
isn't it?
on my social media.
Oh dear, played out in semi-public at least, right?
Yeah.
The reason I say you're too nice is because, you like getting affected by these negative headlines. You know, you care so much, and that's a great thing.
Yeah,
wonderful thing.
Don't stop caring. Anyone out there who's going through hard times with their, let's say, family or whatever, because you're trying to do the right thing, keep going.
Yeah.
You have to keep going.
The whole movement that happened here on Wednesday, Tuesday America time, with, you know, posting up the black screen or the back photo or whatever. There was a lot of backlash to that. And when I first saw it, I was like, should I just do nothing? I don't want to get backlash. And I was like, no, surely saying I support this movement is a good thing.
Yeah.
That can't be a bad thing. So I posted it up anyway. And luckily,
good on you.
No one, I'm not famous enough for anyone to give me backlash. No one really cared that I did it. Away from that, have you been good? It was your birthday.
It was nice.
Josh asked us earlier.
Oh, yeah?
Did you go on that bike ride with your lady friend? Would Alex mention it? I'm curious.
Well, I guess I have to now.
Yes.
No, not the bike ride in the end, but yes to a picnic.
Okay.
Canceled the big event, right? But a few people stopped by because I said, like, hey, no event this week.
Yeah.
So thanks anyway. And they were like, well, will you be in that area? I said, yeah, I'll be in the area. So a few people stopped by. I said, hey.
Where did you do the picnic?
Instead of going to Yeouido, which is usually extremely crowded, we went to Mangwon Gongwon, or Mangwon Hangang Gongwon, which is the Mangwon area near Hongdae Park at the Han River.
Brilliant. That was your birthday picnic.
It was nice. It was fine. It was good.
I saw
good weather.
Some social media posts maybe the night before enjoying some wine somewhere that looked pretty nice as well.
A very nice rooftop wine dinner the night before. It was really, so good.
I want to find rooftops. Like, they weren't a thing almost at all in Korea, but nowadays they're so trendy to go to a rooftop, right?
You know what's interesting about that is that 5, 6, 7 years ago, rooftops weren't used for much of anything.
Yeah.
When you would move into an apartment.
No one would even go there.
But the foreigners that I knew would ask, do we have access to the roof? And they'd be like, yeah, why? And be like, okay,
I want to use it. It's outdoors.
Yeah, we would do barbecues on the rooftops.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, like, I used to love that idea.
Yeah, if you can find a good rooftop, then definitely use it. Wania Khan's on board on VLive saying, your English is good. Yeah, Alex is American, but he still speaks good English, yeah.
Ouch.
Thank you. We are English speakers, Wania, from Korea, and we are broadcasting about the country today. Hashtag, before we get onto your theme, is fundraising or mogum. I would imagine you're someone who's been involved in fundraising.
Sure.
Just from your character. Any memorable fundraising drives?
Oh, man. Growing up as a kid, I wasn't Boy Scouts because I was younger. It was like the Tiger Cubs or something.
Okay.
And also my school, we would sell these candy bars. Just walk around the street, sell candy bars to raise money. And
just like random candy bars or school candy
bars?
It
was a particular, like, a particularly overpriced candy bar.
Okay, to get more money.
Yeah, but they were really good because they would be like chocolate with caramel on the inside.
Oh, nice.
And, or if you're from Ohio like me, chocolate and caramel.
Are the Girl Scout cookies a fundraising thing that are always on like movies and TV?
Yeah.
Are they good?
I mean, I thought they were overrated. I preferred the chocolate, but they're still good.
Yeah.
Like, no hate on that. I forget the names of them all, but there were some decent ones in there.
Nice.
So that's kind of a fun way. Like, I think you teach that at a young age to kids. Like, hey, if you do some work, walk around, sell to your neighbors, the people you know and trust, but like you add value to their life, and then they give you money that you then give to a charity. I think that's something that I was taught at a young age. I think that's really important to do, to make your kids raise money, even though that like the couple candy bars you sold don't like save your school.
Sure.
It teaches something different. So
yeah, that they're working to that common goal. I don't know if it's common here in Korea, because so far my son's just entered second grade. I haven't seen any of that.
Well, yeah.
We did it every year in the UK as well.
I remember doing like magazine sales and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And our library would do like, their own fundraisers, like book sales and whatnot too. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Maybe I should suggest it to my son's school if they're not going to do it. And talking of schools, what a brilliant segue into today's topic. That was totally unintended.
Well, it's, actually, yeah, that was. The things that we're going to be doing this weekend are going to school.
Back to school. Hooray.
Yay.
Korea used to have Saturday sessions of real school until fairly recently, maybe 10, 15 years ago. But we're not going to be studying and like getting stressed.
No, we're going to get more confused. We're going to talk about school closures.
Okay.
But not about the closures that are happening now.
Not for Corona.
Not for Corona. These are just regular change of demographics. Korea has been going through a shortage of, how do you say, children?
Yes, we have a shortage of children.
A shortage of children.
Deliver your spare children to Korea. Yes, we have a very low birth rate that's always in the headlines, don't we?
But in particular in the countryside, because more people are moving from the countryside, specifically young couples are moving from the countryside to kind of the suburbs of Seoul right around now, a lot of those schools can't fill their classrooms.
Yeah,
and
like
so,
at all.
Yeah, so they're closing them down, kind of combining schools in some cases. And what that has done is actually left a lot of open buildings. And when you have open buildings, what do you do with it? Well, that's what we're going to find out today.
Fantastic. So like abandoned or closed down schools, often in the countryside, going to visit them as a different, unique travel destination. I was thinking about this when the topic came up. I don't know many abandoned or closed down schools that are just sitting there. But then I remembered in the countryside, I've driven past many, I do recall. Yeah. And like some are a bit dilapidated and others were in very good condition. So where are we going to start with this?
Well, we're going to be starting off in Gimpo, actually, not too far away. But there's one called the Dokpojin Education Museum. So some of these schools have turned into a museum, but this one is really cool.
Okay.
So this is actually a private museum built in 1996 by two former elementary school teachers at this school.
Oh, that's a great idea. So it closed down, then some old teachers came and turned it into a museum.
Some old teachers, but it gets better than that. It's actually more of a museum dedicated to their love story.
Their love story.
In a way, because
these teachers got together.
So this is about the couple of Dongsun and Insuk. And what happened is the wife actually lost her sight in a car accident.
Oh, no.
And so with the severance pay that the husband and I guess both of them got, he set up a museum kind of in not only her honor, but in honor of the school and everything about it, too.
Wow, how meaningful is that?
I mean, yeah, can you imagine if someone like made a museum for you? Your wife just comes home one day and like, hey, I bought this old thing and now this is your life.
Wow.
The King Peter Museum of the Radio Arts.
I'd love that, especially if you've been through such a tragic incident like that, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, you get to go to this place and you see it's not just a museum to their love. It's got like old school books. It's got old pictures that you can see on the wall. And you can actually really enjoy what it's like to be in an old school.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to see a little bit of their life because there's even an organ, like a piano, there that the couple still can play while they're there.
Wow, so this is a full functioning museum in the building of a school.
So it's a couple of stories. So like the first floor is, they call it class 2 of the 3rd grade, and that's what the wife was in charge of.
Ah, that was her year, her class.
Yeah, so they have that classroom decorated in what it was like in the 60s and the 70s. You've got not only the taegeukgi, the Korean flag, it's an older taegeukgi, the faded flag, small desk, and just some really cool posters on the wall as well.
From like the 60s and 70s, giving you that old school vibe, like literally old school. Do schools in Korea look similar to ones in the States?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I don't think so. Like, I went to I guess, Catholic school, so it's a little bit different than the public school system.
Okay.
But, like, kind of. I think the thing about the Korean schools in the big city, which may be similar in, like, cities like New York, which I never lived in, is that it does seem like it's just kind of, like, copy-pasted classroom after classroom after class, because there's so many students. I think my class, I was an English teacher here 10 years ago, and I think we had around 400 students for 3 grades.
Wow. Just 3 grades?
In middle school.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
So we had like 12, no, it had to be more than that. We had 12 classes per grade of about 30, so maybe it was more like 1,000. Like, now that I think about it, there's a ton of students. And so kind of we had 3 or 4 levels of just classroom after classroom after classroom. And, you know, I was kind of countryside, so we had more space in America at that time, so it was a little different.
Yeah, here in Korea, the schools, a lot of them, like you said, the ones in the city at least, are just these big block buildings that kind of look similar. They've got the school name on the top, and then the yard or the sports ground in front, which is sometimes like made with gravel or sometimes astroturf, is very different to the UK, where a primary school, elementary school, they all look very different.
Right,
and they're usually like 1-story little buildings with maybe a couple of huts and stuff like this.
Oh.
It's different to the American school.
Very different.
So I was really surprised. I was like, why is the building so big? This is not an office, it's a school? I was a bit confused.
I guess that being said, then yes, the Korean school looks more like an American school. Comparing it to your little village that you have,
little
elementary village.
Yeah, they I think the Korean education system, as well as the schools, is kind of based on the American template loosely, right? We'll get to more information about these closed schools. What an interesting topic. Tell us about your old schools as well after some Oh My Girl, Secret Garden, 비밀 정원.
Welcome to Arirang Radio.
If you are in Jeju,
88.7 in Jeju City.
88.1 in Seogwipo City.
101.9 in the Daejeong area.
Arirang Radio.
Back for part 2. What's up weekend? Well, nearly back. I think my throat is thinking of giving up.
Yeah.
But Alex is here. He's all right. So if I conk out again, he'll be here to take over.
Yeah, you just take a nap. I got this. You got this.
I will take a nap, actually. I need one. We're talking about abandoned schools or closed down schools. Really interesting one in the first part. A museum has been created by a couple of teachers who got together at school, and then she was in a terrible accident to lose her eyesight. That's so meaningful over in Gimpo.
Yeah.
I might take the kids there to see that. That sounds cool. Precious Tay Cutie says, very kindly, may I have a shout out? Should we give Precious Tay Cutie a shout out? Have we already done it by reading it?
Shout out!
There you go. That's for you. Dedicated to you, Precious Tay. Loads of messages about school days as well.
Yeah. People are talking about haunted schools. Did I miss this? So
Is haunted schools a thing?
kind of. So Glowy Jane says, I even sleep over in a haunted house where church camp was held, or haunted school where church camp was held.
Oh, why would you do that?
To scare the spirits. I don't know.
Maybe.
Joshua said Truman State College in Missouri is pretty haunted. I know about that even before Mikey Chen talked about it. I mean, haunted schools, I guess there is that lore in, you know, some American TV shows or movies, or there's always that. I remember watching Boy Meets World growing up, and they had like a haunted. That was like the best thing ever. The comedy series haunted house episodes, or haunted, you know, October 30th episodes for Halloween.
Okay.
And I guess like Oh, there is a Korean one. There's a Korean movie, right?
There's a
I never
series.
watched it.
I can't
There's a series too, yeah.
It's like Girls' School, and Ghost School Trilogy is maybe what you need to search out. And yeah, it's these girls at girls' school, and I think a lot of the horror happens at the schools themselves as well. I can't remember the title. We're furiously trying to find it.
The Silenced is one of them.
Oh, really?
That's the one it's on the flicks, and I want to see it, and I haven't seen it yet.
Is it on the flicks? Maybe I'll check it. No, I don't like horror movies, to be honest.
Oh, some of these are scary.
Yeah.
These are great. We're looking at all the pictures right now.
Asian horror films, especially Korean ones, they are awful with the girls with like long hair in front of their faces, that image. I really get creeped out by that massively. Almost 421 says, talking about high school, I went to a high school where we didn't do classes by what grade you were in. You would have it mixed in terms of age. Is that a thing sometimes in the States? That seems quite progressive, right?
Yeah, there's a different system like for every area.
Okay.
Like even in the US, you have a different level for middle school and junior high. The junior high system is more like the Korean system. It can be based on age. It can be based on skill. You have people taking senior classes when they're freshmen.
Oh, wow.
Depending on their level of math, you know, like that would go up. So there's progressiveness in all those areas.
I don't know if that happens often here in Korea. I think it's usually strictly by grade, right?
Yeah.
You go on to say, I remember there always being about 20 to 30 students in my classes in high school as well. MHJ getting in touch from Korea saying, yeah, these days with the very low birth rate here, school size and number of students is quite small compared to the past, maybe 20 to 25 in a class and only 4 classes in a grade. My son goes to a school where there's only 3 grades and there's 20 or less in each class.
Yeah.
It's like tiny. Yeah.
There's a book out there by Malcolm Gladwell. I forget which one it was. It was, I don't remember which one it was, but basically he says in there that a lot of the wealthiest people in the world come from these kind of lower birth rate periods.
Oh, really?
Because it's interesting because there's less competition to get into the top programs, the top high schools, then the top universities.
This is good.
So it
for
actually,
me, my children.
Yeah. So actually, a lot of like the super wealthy people that were born in the 30s at the low birth rate in the U.S. Like that's where they came from, and then only a few years in the 50s where there's like a certain dip. So maybe this is the year for the Korean kids born now.
Well, maybe that's going to encourage too many people to have kids and compete with my kids. Stop talking about it.
Oh,
You're releasing
your kids
the
are older.
secret.
Your kids are older than that. They're not.
Right.
Yeah. Wait, one more message from Leon. Actually, we have one. Why are school camps always held in abandoned schools? Mine were not, but this sounds fun. It's scary. And we have activities in the night too, because those seniors won't miss the chance to torture us. I used to love like camps that had scary stories. They try to scare the campers.
Yeah, I think when you mix it with seniors, though, I remember we went on one school trip with the year above, and they used to just bully us like mad.
Well, don't bully, but
No.
scare them a little bit.
Tease a little bit.
Tease a little bit.
I suppose that's okay. The reason we played Secret Garden, Pimil Jongwon, I guess, is because of this next school with a certain garden. Right?
Right. So we're going to go to our second out of 4 abandoned schools today. And this one is the Samcheok Maze Garden, which is really cool. This one was actually closed at the end of the last, end of the last millennium, right? 1999.
Yes, absolutely.
That sounds pretty epic.
Makes it sound like thousands of years ago.
And they made it into a community garden just 3 years ago, though. So
okay.
it actually has a local restaurant, which is really cool. They have a tofu and wildflower experience center, an arboretum and wildflower garden, and a couple of other facilities that you can check out. Cool thing here, in the middle of the playground, they have a pool, but it's not a swimming pool.
Okay.
It's a pool that you can ride a canoe in.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's like a circular pool. It's not huge, but it's pretty neat as well. So they've got this pool set up. We're looking at the pictures right now.
It's
looks
a
really
delightful.
pretty garden. They've got the inside set up like an old school system. They've got little nice tables that you can eat outside at.
Yeah.
They have those Korean like kind of elevated platforms that you can sit down in, enjoy like a nice relaxing evening.
Yeah, that they have in many areas like the mountains as well. Just random ones. You don't pay. You just go and sit on there. You can have a drink, look at the view. That pool is rather big for this as well. Yeah. And the canoes are those ones with the transparent bottoms. There's not much to see in the pool, but still.
You can see the bottom.
You're getting wet. Yeah. Wow.
So it's really cool here too because they also have like like I said, an experience center, but you can grind your own soft tofu up and make your own food that then you can eat.
Wow.
So then it's really nice. These are the glass, not just a glass bottom, but the entire canoe is plastic clear,
Yes.
right?
I hope not glass. It
That
would
would
probably
be-
break, yeah.
ooh.
But it looks like they also have accommodation on site, so you can stay here as like a holiday destination. Because Samcheok is near the sea. It's famous for its beach, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I want to go here. This looks like a fun school. Why can't a real school be like this? Just like a little theme park.
Imagine if your school was like nestled in the mountains.
You had a
like
little
this.
canoe to ride at break time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're right. It is on the edge of a mountain in all that green. That would be really inspirational, I feel, right?
Absolutely.
I want to go here.
Okay.
Okay.
Just go. You have a car.
Can I-
You're an
can I-
adult.
Can I leave?
You can go.
I think I've got to do half an hour more, though.
Not if they pay me instead of you.
All right, you take it away. You've got the information for the rest of them as well.
Yeah, there's another place in Yeongwol, which is one of the most underrated places in Korea because
Yeongwol?
no one knows about it.
I don't know about it.
I talk about it a lot when I talk about travel because they have this like really nice observatory out there with incredible like telescopes that you can actually check out.
Okay.
And they've got really, nice little markets. It's a small town in Yeongwol, but really cool places around it as you're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's a
But-
beautiful river there as well.
They have a media reporter museum.
In an old school.
Yeah, so a former photographer of the Hanguk Ilbo said there's this, like he took this picture of this thing called, I'm going to go in Korean, I guess, Nae Joguk, which is his famous picture of a guy. And I think maybe you've seen it too. It's like the dude running through the city in the 1987 Democratic Uprising with the Korean flag behind him.
Okay,
And-
an iconic image
But
then.
that is like kind of like the main thing you go there to see. But it's basically a museum for reporters. And when you go there, you see a lot of old pictures. You get to see kind of the old gear that they used to use. But also, a little cool thing that, if you bring your kids around, there's a press room where you can be a journalist, take some pictures. It's a good photo op area. So they've turned this old school into a Yeongwol Media Reporter Museum.
For inspiring the next generation of journalists. That's a unique thing to do, isn't it? So all these closed schools, very different in what they've been converted into, right?
Correct.
So you can take your pick in what you fancy. We'll be doing something literature related in part 3 as well. Keep your messages coming in. We're going to play this from 7 o'clock. Get away. It's time for part 3 of What's Up Weekend with Alex in the studio, taking you to closed schools, abandoned schools that have been converted for another purpose. Kevin says in the US, when a town closes down a school and it's still in reasonably good condition, it's often converted to another use. In my hometown, for example, the old high school was renovated and repurposed as the town hall itself.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Wow, really interesting stuff. Yeah, and in Korea, like, we shouldn't say like all the schools are closing down, because in places where people are moving to, like those satellite cities you mentioned,
Right.
they're like building new schools there, right? Really cool high-tech ones. I've seen one in Ilsan called the Hallyu School as well, like capitalizing on the Korean wave somehow. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah. Ayana says, it's a good thing that the number of students in a class is small. Can't imagine how to start the new norm with 40 students in a class. That would be insane.
Yeah, so my son's school, what they're doing is that different grades are going on different days.
Ooh.
So there's only like, I think, 60 kids a day in the school. So they're
Wow.
really keeping social distancing. And in the classrooms as well, they're sitting apart from one another and with masks on all day. So my
Yeah.
kids are complaining about that. But I'm like, look, for the greater good, just keep it on as long as possible. I think we're quite lucky because we work in
Yeah.
broadcasting. You can't have a mask on and talk into the mic. But many other office workers I've seen are doing their office jobs with masks on as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, we're in the studio, so we can take off the masks.
Yeah.
Outside of the studio.
We put them back on.
Yeah.
We promise. Everyone's wearing
I
them.
do. You have to. I had to do 2 temperature checks in this building this morning.
That's true, on the first floor and then the 8th floor
Yeah.
for us as well. Thank you for doing that as well. That is our rule. MHJ saying, oh, the film series you're talking about is Yogo Kwedam. Yeah, that's the Korean title, Yogo Kwedam. If you want to look at something really scary and not be able to sleep for the whole weekend, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 films in that series, and it's known as Whispering Corridors, the English title. Are you a horror film fan?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Love them. I mean, I get scared like anyone else. I really freak out. I go to closed eyes mode. but I love it. It's kind of like a roller coaster for me. Get that like heart pumping a little bit.
Okay, you like the adrenaline.
So yeah, I'm not like a brave person, but I just like getting scared.
But me and my wife are the same. We don't like watching it because if we're ever alone by ourselves at night, we're then just thinking about that all the time.
Well,
Does that not happen?
That's why you leave the lights on when you go to sleep.
Oh,
I still do. I'm an adult. I'm a 30-some-year-old man, and when I watch a scary movie that's that scary, I will sleep with the lights on.
Totally.
I'm not ashamed to admit it.
TV on and everything, right? Let's get to our third part. One last school to tackle.
Oh, the Gochang Book Village.
Oh.
Which is a really cool little book, I guess, school now. Because, I mean, that makes sense, right? This is like almost as educational as having the museums themselves. But there's actually a book village called the Gochang Book Village Heri. I think that's for Harry, Harry.
I wondered if there was a Harry Potter reference, but I guess it's Heri.
I don't think it is, because I was trying to figure out all the pictures and stuff. Like, there's nothing Harry Potter-esque.
No, I think you're right. Like, Heri is that art town as well near Paju. I guess it might have some arty connotation to it. But this is in the grounds of a school, is it then?
So yeah, this was reborn as this book culture area in 2006, and there's actually almost 200,000 donated books that are available here.
200,000.
So you actually can go there and enjoy the books. There's some really cool stuff. They have like a little tree house here as well that you can go and read in, like a tree house in the tree. Go up there, climb it up. They also have, they've got this like area where it's like a book prison, and you have to read the book before you can leave or something like that.
You're forced to read it.
You're forced to read.
Oh, yes, it says Czech Kamok. I'm looking at the photo, and a book jail. And apparently that's a popular thing to do. I guess to motivate you to read, yeah.
Force you to... This sounds terrible.
Yeah, when you enter, you have to read books, but there are a growing number of volunteers to go into prison.
I feel so bad. I used to read so much as a kid because you just chose whatever was interesting to you.
Yeah, and you get lost in it, right?
Oh, man. I read like the entire horror series by R.L. Stein, like every single one of them.
Do you read often these days, Alex? How many in 2020?
Not a lot.
Paul Matthews, our Wednesday guest for books, 162 books.
A year?
No, this year.
Till
June. Yeah.
How many kids' books are those? I think he has...
all adult
lies.
books, I think.
Lies. I've read like 3, maybe 2. I think I've finished maybe 2.
I've not read any adult books, but if you include kids' books, I'm maybe near him, actually, but they're very short, aren't they? This book village looks interesting because the school is still in its old state as well. It looks fairly run down, but then they've just put in loads of these books into there and encourage kids and families to come and use it as like a giant library, I suppose.
Yeah. And so go ahead and get in there and enjoy some of these books that you have. I think it's really cool because Korea has done this not only with schools, and maybe we'll talk about this in a future What's Up Weekend episode, but of course they've also done that with a lot of old factories.
Yep.
That they've, in the Seoul area, they've turned them into kind of like art, I don't call them art villages, but like places for young artistic people to set up shop cheaply. And not just there too, but in different cities around Korea as well.
Sure.
So I like this repurposing of old buildings because, I mean, what are you going to do with them? You're just going to let them sit there?
This week has been a bit retro because Cedric on Monday took us to Hipjido, Ujjido area, which really is repurposing the old buildings as museums or art galleries, cafes. The place where you have shouted on about for ages, Iksondong as well.
Yep.
That did that in such a great way. And these schools, that's another example. And in some places that really maybe need some extra tourism, like Gochang, which is down south in Jeollabuk-do province, these schools seem like a really interesting way of doing it. The second one you talked about with the accommodation, I'd love to go there. That's a great holiday place to go.
Yeah, I didn't notice it at any of these places, but I wonder if you can wear the school uniforms like you can when you go down to Jeonju and stuff.
Yeah, because that's a real thing for tourists, and not even tourists, just locals. Even in Seoul, you can rent obviously the hanbok, but the school uniforms are really popular, right? With the guys wearing the cap and looking really smart with the buttons up to their
You need the yellow thing on the outside.
Have you done that?
No, only the hanboks.
Okay, yeah, me too. I want to do the old school uniforms. I reckon you'd look pretty dapper in that, Alex.
Thank you.
I think you should.
I should let my hair grow out a little bit and then get like the Korean middle school haircut just straight across.
A little bowl cut. That would look fantastic.
I mean, I had it.
on
I
you.
only can't call it Korean. I had it growing up too, but
It is not linked exclusively to Korea.
no, yeah.
So schools in the States, is there any issue? The birth rate, we don't hear about the States. There's still kids to go to the schools, not many closing down and stuff.
Well, I think that about that, we still are having lots of kids, relatively speaking. And even though that number of kids per family may be going down, the number of immigrants is still a big factor in the U.S. that kind of keeps kids coming into the system.
Okay.
More and more people keep immigrating,
Yeah.
and that just hasn't made it a huge deal. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't spots in America. There are certainly more rural areas where people are fleeing to the city. Young couples don't want to live there anymore. So a lot of those places are struggling to find students. But overall, though, I don't think it's as serious as Korea, which is got the birth rate thing. So
yeah, it's a double whammy for the countryside, though, isn't it? It's the birth rate that's so low, and then the young people are moving to the city anyway.
Yeah.
So then there's really like no kids. We've talked about stories, I think, before on the show where maybe there's a whole grade just for 1 or 2 students in some villages.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a very lonely playground, I would imagine.
So maybe we
right?
should encourage some families to have like 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah, or
You.
just 2 each.
You.
That would be good. You.
You.
We don't have to be married, do we? We can just have children. That's the main aim. Yana says the Gochang Book Village. I think it was on the TV show Master in the House, and they helped the villagers to make bookshelves there as well. Yeah, that would be a pretty good cause. And Siska talking about Haiti, which is the art village in Paju. Don't get it confused with Gochang. Saying, yeah, I've been there in Paju, and you guys asking whereabouts Paju is. It's kind of very close to North Korea.
Yeah, so you go, if you're looking at the map of Seoul, it's northwest, so up and left.
Yeah, you can check that out. I think there are a few book places around there. And I've seen recently in Seoul as well, in some of the golmokgyos, actually very close by at Isu Station.
Yeah.
They have some book cafes. So it's a little coffee shop, but on the walls they have all these curated books that I think the owner chooses. You can just read them for free as well.
Yeah.
Alex, thanks for coming in and being honest about your book reading and accusing Paul Matthews of lies, darn lies.
He's too smart to lie.
I'll
He
confront
knows
him on
too many
Wednesday.
things.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.
All right, see y'all next Friday.
Let's play Aim Lita's song request, DPR Live, DPR Cream, Gravity.